Okay, so this is my prototype SRV3. The reason I have the old one here, not the new one, is because I'm showing the different components, so that way those of you that want to build it can do so. So I'm going to break it down a little bit so you can better see what's going on. So, main components, differences in this gun from other SR models that I built in the past is the ratchet system. Oh, wherever that went. Missing a piece. Alright, so ratchet system on the front, we're going to just swing that thing down and get that off the gun so we can show you that better. Okay. So now, notice the gun without the ratchet system. To take it off, you just have to remove two pieces. Lost one, but basically this right here, and I'll get and explain that later. But this is the front ratchet mech. Basically, you got two little arms with some surgical tubing. I got pictures of the size and I think the SKU number, so you can go out and order it. This is the ratchet mech on both sides. Not sure if you can see that. These are used to help align with aiming, so when you're looking down the barrel, you can kind of use these as a guide reference as to your height and you know, if you're off center or not. So that's pretty much it. That's that. And then it comes apart in pieces. So you have a trigger. I'm not sure if you can see all this in here, but you pull the trigger and the whole thing assembles from here. Take the rubber bands off of it. So you get two rubber bands that basically just keep that part down, and so when you pull the trigger, it acts as a trigger return and also aids in loading, so you can just pull it back and when you load you just let go. So let's take the front off here. This front piece here, it's just part of the bipod. It's still work in progress, but I'm going to break it down in sections. This is what I call the exoskeleton of the gun, and you have this on both sides, and that literally just kind of feeds right in between each one of these pegs, so it kind of just sneaks in there. You can kind of see on this side, maybe you can get a better view, how it's just kind of resting in there. So if I were to take the exoskeleton off on this side, well, gotta take this off first. Cheek rest, really simple. So if I take the exoskeleton off on this side, you have basically a frame. So now you got two exoskeleton pieces, a few of the front pieces that kind of just prevented this from coming off and also keeps it secure, because what happens is, pretty much like this, it just lines up in here and when it hits the front of the barrel and causes a seal. Here's your stock. Just a few pieces for comfort. We added some support in here so it all stays together strong. Aids in loading, you can kind of hold it back. This is a monopod, so when you have a bipod, it'll be working alongside, locks down, locks up when you're just carrying it around. Okay, so now you have a frame and you have a handle and the trigger assembly. That's all that's left. So what you have here is 3 pins. 1, 2, and 3. They're just blue pins. You remove these blue pins and basically that removes the entire assembly and handle. So there's one more green pin in here. That just kind of holds all this secure in place. So this is same on both sides. This is your middle piece. So like I said, 3 pins hold all that together. This is a separator part, basically of just keeps the handle centered on the frame. If you notice, you have some one-slot connectors. These are gray, they're now purple. They add spacing to the body. Towards the front of the barrel, notice there's none. This is to save on weight, and they're not really needed. So, in the back, the reason they're nice, because you have a trigger assembly, what I'm going to show you. Notice the whole thing kind of stays in these forks. I don't know if you can see the forks, but it kind of shows, it goes like this, and the trigger rides in between. Here's the actual trigger. This is the part. It's all crooked. There we go. This is the part that is pulled. This part's in the handle and actually acts as the part that prevents from being returned too far. And this is the attachment point for these rods. And finally, this whole part's called trigger assembly with the trigger and all this stuff. This is actually the mechanism that holds the ammunition in place and is attached to the trigger on both sides, kind of like that. So, well, I guess it would be more like that. So, anyway, that's that. These green pieces on either side of this keep this in strong, because as soon as you remove them, notice the connection is much weaker. It can kind of fall off. So by adding those green pieces to either side, it kind of squeezes that connection, solidifying that. I'm trying to make this quick, but that's that. That's all that you have. So, trigger assembly, front bipod part, which probably won't even get used in the future. The handle part that goes kind of on the outside of the handle to sort of separate it. The 3 pins that hold all that together. Cheek rest, you can put 1 or 2. I have 2 on my completed one for each side, so it's ambidextrous. And then you have the exoskeleton pieces. The stock. These pieces kind of go in the front. And then this is the ratchet system. And that's that. Here's the projectile. Also, there's pictures on how to make these fins. The front is quite simply a 1-slot connector. You wrap 5 layers of E-tape right there around the shaft. Then you take the tape right here, you wrap it around kind of tightly, cut it off, put 1 more piece around the shaft to kind of keep it all together because electrical tape wants to expand. Prevents that from happening. And then this piece is just simply squeezed in here like that. And this is what gets held by the rubber bands when it's ready to fire. So that's that. Your gun should be shooting 500 feet if you build it correctly. Proper bands, proper ammo, 45-degree angle. That's it.